Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Ajith Joseph with us today. Ajith is founder and CEO at PerfAgents. It was acquired by Testing Maven, so that's what we're gonna discuss about today. Ajith, welcome to the pods. Tell us a bit more about yourself and what you're up to.
Thanks, Charles. Thanks for having me. My name is Ajith. I founded PerfAgents, and currently I am the head of GTM for an AI services company called Thought Minds. But my journey with PerfAgents has been like amazing, right from the start to the acquisition phase. So thanks for having
Right,
me.
my pleasure. How did you get into entrepreneurship in 2020? Why did you decided to get into that?
Okay, so my entrepreneurial journey has been kind of accidental, I would say. Though I have
Mhm.
done some kind of, tried to do some kind of side hustles in the past, such as renting cars through Turo, the ride sharing platform, and have also tried renting, like purchasing cars and renting it out. Same business model that we have in the US, enterprise or Avis and all that, right? Back in India, back in probably around 2012, that time frame, and it failed. It failed drastically, right? So it was not a good business model back in India. So I'm originally from India, moved to US, and started working with certain 500 companies, and eventually I landed. PerfAgents actually started as a side hustle, right? And it was pretty much like I was working with a very big brokerage company, and my role was to do consolidation of monitoring, right? Monitoring tools. When I analyzed all these tools which were in existence, on a fine day, I think it was a long weekend, I was just sitting in Minneapolis, looking out the window, everything is white. Like it was a snowy day. So I think it was it was not in July, some in April time. That was when I first got back in 2012 or 2020. I got idea of that. Hey, um, we at the brokerage company, we have certain number of tools, like around 20 tools to monitor the whole suite of applications. uh, and still there are a lot of P1 issues, P2, P3 issues that comes up, and business is you know affected by financial losses or reputation losses, even with all these tools. So, and I looked at synthetic monitoring. So we had Gomus back then, which was later acquired by Dynatrace, and which later became Dynatrace. It was acquired by CompuWare, I believe. So I looked at the tool, and that had a lot of limitations. It was not open source. So that's when I thought, from a development background, I should come up with a tool which can basically mimic user actions, do monitoring in a very developer friendly manner. So yeah, back in those days, I was talking to my wife, and she said, you know, that's a great, problem, and a great use case, and why don't we come up with a product? That's when I got that idea that I took which use. If it is open source, everyone can use it for free. And back in the days, those monitoring tools, I don't believe any open source was widely adopted. But then there were tools which were very highly priced, such as Gomez was very, you can only only enterprises can probably purchase those big monitoring tools. So I came up with this. I wrote the code on a weekend and put it on Red Hat OpenShift. That was a cloud back then, and I even got an OpenShift, Red Hat OpenShift Spotlight Award. That was kind of the boost. That was the story. That was the beginning of PerfAgents.
Right. And then you founded that company. To which point did you scaled it and sold it?
Okay, so that was a weekend project, hobby, or a side hustle back then. And this was a 2013, 2014 timeframe. And I did not do anything until around 2018. I set up a company, but I still did not work on it. And sometime around 2020 is when 2019 pre-COVID era is when seriously thought about coming up with this product on a SaaS as a SaaS model, and make it as a full-fledged synthetic monitoring tool. So that was when right around that time I worked with a person from India who helped me set up a team in India and offshore basically. So that way I kind of bootstrapped the company that way without raising external funds, by keeping the cost down, the development cost down, and then doing certain services, like monitoring services, building monitoring services for certain companies. And that way we without external funding, we were able to set up a team, start working on the product, and eventually launch the product, and market it, did the GTM, and try to do the product market fit. And it took certain number of years from 2020 to 2022. From the year 2020 to 2022, it was pretty much like, we were doing services, we were doing pretty much like development, developing the product. And we did not have any AI tools as we have today, where you can just come up with the MVP in like 4 hours, right? 6 hours, you can come up with an MVP using Lovable or Bolt. Back in the days, you have to have a proper architecture. So we came up with an enterprise level scalable architecture, which was a mistake. So we came up with that, launched the product, and grabbed our first customer on the SaaS. Sometime in 2023, we had like pilot customers, and we got our first customer in 2024 actually. So between 2020 to 2022, it was pretty much services. 2022 to 2023, pretty much like full-fledged development. And right at the end of 2023 to 2024, that's when we launched the product and grabbed our first customer, and then we started adding more and more users into the system. So that's how it started. And in 2025, we got acquired. So it was pretty much like a 5-year journey. Pretty much like, if you ask me, did we pivot? We did not pivot much. But if you ask me right now, we should have pivoted to have a better growth, right? But that's the glimpse of PerfAgents.
Right. And how big was the exit? And why do you think you've gotten there while 1 to 5% startups never get to an acquisition?
All right. So we were we got a call, email from some of the M&A companies, and they wanted to have a conversation right when we were starting. But then I told them, hey, we are pretty small and we don't want to sell the business, or we don't want to get acquired, because we are just growing, right? And we were also trying to raise some funds. So that was the initial point of getting introduced to acquisitions. We were not even aware about acquisitions back then. Then later, we were trying to raise funds, which was not happening, which was not coming to the final stage. There were investors who were pretty much interested, but then they were looking at the traction. We were having initial traction, but then not the kind of traction everyone wanted. So that kind of stalled. So we were going in multiple directions. So I'm a single founder, and my time was split between product, sales, and talking to investors, and then a new stream, like people who want to acquire us. So it was getting pretty much like diversified my time, and that kind of like hindered the growth a little bit. So then when later, so that and there was a change in the market. So these fueled a thought in me that should we, sell the business, be part of a bigger company, so that we can grow exponentially within that company, right? That's when we spoke to really big companies. One of the very popular company based out of the UK, and some big names from the US, and certain Israel founded companies as well spoke to us, right? Or they were interested to have a stake in PerfAgents, or wanted to buy out PerfAgents. So that's when we thought, okay, so there is a real potential to even sell, to be part of a bigger company. That was exciting to me as well. So that's when Testing Mavens also spoke to us. They wanted to basically grab the AI part and push that into their product that they were building. And me and the founder had good wavelength and vibe, so good synergies. So we spoke for about 6 months before actually getting acquired, but it was not for acquisition that we spoke in the beginning, right? It's pretty much they use our product, and they wanted to look at the AI part and see if there is an integration that they can build, etc. So that's how. And the acquisition is not so big in terms of financial, terms. It's more of an acqui-hire plus certain profit sharing and some equity. So it is a mix of all of these. So I wouldn't say that it is a big exit in any terms, but it is a successful exit, which made me happy, the team happy, and everyone involved happy, right? So that's how I see the acquisition of PerfAgents as well. And it also gave me some space to think about the next big thing I would do.
Interesting. And yeah, how was the transition for you? Did you still work at the company and check that everything was transitioned properly? What followed the acquisition, and how did your founder mentality change when that happened?
Sure. So the as part of like I said, the conversation or the process was pretty long, right? Almost like 6 months, and then we eventually landed in acquisition. So and the product PerfAgents is this AI driven synthetic monitoring tool, can be used by enterprises. Scripts for enterprises can be run on PerfAgents using an AWS driven infrastructure. So the tool itself is a standalone tool, and the company buying it didn't require much of founders' time to go forward. Reason being, PerfAgents will blend into their ecosystem as a performance tooling, as part of a performance tooling ecosystem that they're building. So it will still be a standalone tool, but it will eventually get placed into a lot testing portfolio. Due to that reason, I'm not I was not called in to be part of Testing Mavens as part of the acquisition. So which is a really like a boon or a kind of a blessing to me, because I can think of the next big thing to build. It doesn't come with a golden handcuffs, in other terms. So that that's how that's how the terms and the acquisition terms are laid out. The only thing which prevents me from building another observability tool for certain number of years is a negative out of the acquisition. Apart from that, not having a close to work with them, and not the transition happened so seamlessly, and I'm still supporting them in case of any customer events where any kind of support is required. But apart from that, I'm not part of the daily operations.
Interesting. And what's next for you? How will you leverage that exit to launch your next thing?
Oh yeah, I channelize that exit into building the next big thing. There are a couple of ideas that I am working on, and that's when founder of ThoughtMinds, which is an AI services company, spoke to me, and he built a company called Rapid Value Solutions from India, and scaled it up to 700 plus employees and sold it to another company. Uh, Kind of a good exit for them, um, because they are based out of India, and that exit was good. So usually services companies get to 2x to 3x to 4x exit versus product with 5x to 10x exits, right? But still, pretty good exit for them. And he was one of the founder of that original company called Rapid Value Solutions. And so he came out. His name is Renish KN. So he spoke to me. He has been talking to me for quite some time. And I got aligned with his thought process as well as what I was seeing in the AI space. So AI will need human in the loop. Okay, so there will be multiple products coming out in AI, and that area will get uh, crowded pretty soon. There'll be so many competitors, right? But in the AI services side as well, there'll be competition, but that's an area which will have a lot of growth. So coming from a product background, and looking at the services success rate of the founder from the services side, we kind of like we complement each other, right? And so that's when I joined hands with him, and told myself that I want to be part of Thought Mind's success story as well, which is roughly at 2 to 3 million run rate, want to grow to 30 million on the long run, which is not a huge run rate, huge revenue rate that the founder is trying to achieve in certain number of years. So yeah, I said I want to be part of that as well. And of course, I'm a builder, so I have certain ideas in my mind, and definitely going towards some of them in the future as well.
And for 700 employees, you mentioned like 7 million. Like, are you still a strong believer in employees vs having AI agents do the work like 10x more efficient than an actual human?
I look at it from a different angle, taking two steps back, looking at AI. AI is a hugely beneficial tool to the humankind. We would be set free in terms of work-life balance. We would have more work-life balance in the future. That is the same ideology that even the OpenAI founder Sam Altman talks repeatedly about. How I see AI is that AI, when we talk about AI, using AI is one part, building things on AI is another part. So using AI, everyone will need to adopt to. If you don't use AI, you're going to get you probably people in the software development or in the tech industry are going to the people you're not using AI are probably going to lose their jobs or lose their importance, right? Whereas people adopting AI, using AI will have some importance in the long run. Now, coming to building AI, so there are three things we can do, right? Building the foundation, which is already there. There are 8 companies which has built the foundation models out there. OpenAI leading the space, Anthropic, Mistral, and so on, even Meta, right, with Llama models and so on. So there are so many foundation models, and there are some deep work going on in that area. So that is one space. Now, building AI agents, which is exactly similar to what human does. So AI agent replicates what a human does. That's another stream of work. AI workflow is doing a little bit of automation using multiple agents or multiple AI work um, components is an AI workflow, and then agentic platform combining multiple things like this. This is what is happening in the industry, and what how I see is that there is a big gap still. People are not looking at, which is there are existing systems and data, there is a new stream of AI agents and AI workflows coming in. What's in the middle? In the middle, you need an integration layer, right? Whereas AI agents needs to talk to the existing systems. That's not happening much as we speak. That's where Anthropic came up with MCP protocol, right? Model Context Protocol, Model Context Protocol, MCP. It's a protocol similar to HTTP. How HTTP became a big thing, right? A big thing back in the days when internet came out. MCP is going to be the big thing as AI is coming out of the box. Now, we can talk about MCP, but then that's I think about AI.
Yeah, let's actually talk about MCP. Like, what is it exactly? Like, it's a protocol. So if you mentioned that it's like HTTPS, but for AI, why is it game changing in your opinion?
It's a game changer in terms of the thing that I mentioned, that there are existing systems on the, let's say, if you draw a box on the right hand side, you got all the existing systems in the world, right? On the left hand side, you got all the AI agents that people are building, left, right, center. Now in the middle, you have you need a connectivity between the AI agents and the existing world of systems. That's where you need a protocol to talk in between, right? Your left side AI agents to your right side existing systems. That's what MCP is in effect. So it's, you can think of it as an USB-C port. That's the very common analogy that everyone is
Sure,
talking about.
but why not use HTTPS or how will they monetize that is more my question.
Good question. So there you can still use MCP works. MCP is a protocol that utilizes HTTP in a way to connect. So you are, end of the day, you need to talk to your existing systems. If you directly talk to your existing systems, there are a lot of areas that you need to look at: security, governance, and so on. So AI agents, LLM based software, it's essentially LLM based software needs to talk to existing software. That's the area, right? So of course the first thing that comes to your mind is that why don't we use HTTP, HTTPS, WebSockets, existing protocols? The problem with that is that it's a two-way communicative protocol, right? Whereas LLM is, you work out of a context window, you throw in a prompt, you get a big response out of it. So there are multiple areas that you need to look into. That's where Anthropic came up with MCP to make it, set of standards where you can still communicate over HTTP. So even though we have an MCP protocol in the middle, you still communicate to the endpoint over HTTP. So what happens here is that think of MCP, break MCP. Let's break MCP down, right? Into a client and a server software. So server is kind of a interface that you put in front of your existing legacy systems, so that you don't want your LLM agents to talk to your mainframes directly, because you with your prompt you can do anything, right? So you need a layer where you have an API control. So now you can hit your API directly, but you don't know which API to hit. LLM can still think about it, but you need to provide LLM, hey, these are the APIs that you can hit, and get the data. So that is where MCP comes in and say that, hey, I will consolidate what you need to, as a, hey, LLM agent, you need to talk to mainframes, go through me, and these are what you can access. So that's what it says. So essentially, every system will have its own MCP server in front of it. And right now, as we speak, every vendor, whether it's a software product company that comes out with a product, is coming out with a MCP server. And those vendors who doesn't have a MCP server built in, community is building for them. And then there are existing custom applications. Nobody is building MCP for them. So one of the idea that me and certain other friends are talking about is coming up with a complete product to have an MCP infrastructure as well.
Got it. Well, very interesting, Ajit. Where can people find out more about you and your company?
About my new company,
Yeah, and yourself, where can people find out more about you?
Sure. So they can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I am pretty communicative, pretty active in LinkedIn, and that's the single point of connect to get in touch with me. And Yeah, you know, I'm talking to hundreds of people on a weekly basis. Some people want to build something. There's some people want to get advices, and even I'm talking to people who may want thought mind services, as well as people who wants to know about more about AI and MCP. So there is it's kind of I mean, AI has been a buzzword till then, but then it's kind the dust is settling in, and companies which were just you know mm, pushing out smoke is getting removed, and companies which are building real stuff, they're going to exist here.
There you go. Thanks for your time, Ajit. That was Ajit